Typical, the door's dropped. That needs fixing. Doesn't take long for things to start dropping and falling to pieces. That's a new gate that I built earlier this year and it's already dropped by half a centimetre. Very annoying. Anyway, bit of a disappointing one this morning. No, good morning. Let's start that properly. We've got a bit of a situation. Hey Phyllis. Rufus, ladies. Typical, the wind is absolutely atrocious today. The good thing is my hay fever is not bad. That's a win. Anyway, the reason for today's video is not a good one. We had a fox attack last night. It's the first one. I'm not surprised in many respects. I have been sort of anticipating that this was going to happen at some point, but it's always disappointing when it does actually happen. So about 2 weeks ago I noticed that we had a broody hen. I came out early one morning to let them all out and to give them their breakfast, and there were already a chicken out here near the feeder squawking. I'm like, how did I miss that one last night? Very, very strange. Anyway, turns out that she'd been collecting a clutch of eggs underneath the coop and I hadn't noticed, which is very annoying. And she had about 10 eggs underneath there, and I was undecided what to do, whether to move her off the eggs because I didn't really want a broody hen, or whether I should leave her and just move the eggs somewhere else. Anyway, my indecision led me to just leaving her there. So I blocked off the area so she wasn't as obvious, and I've just left her there for the last 2 weeks to sit on those eggs and see what actually happens. Unfortunately, the fox found her last night. Yeah. And there's the eggs. Oh, I'm coming into the caravan. It is freezing out there. I wish I'd put my body warmer on. It's unusual, I haven't got a jumper on, but I can't believe how cold it is. It's June and it's freezing. Anyway, so the fox has actually got hold of her last night. It's very annoying, very frustrating, and I can't say I am a little bit disappointed by it, but I aren't surprised in the same breath. I did have a sneaking suspicion that that was going to happen, although we were of the impression that currently we don't have any foxes around here. The farmer is very good at controlling the foxes, and I have been monitoring it. I haven't smelt fox, our cameras haven't picked up a fox, so could be a chance visit. Anyway, because of that, what I've decided is I'm going to put up a camera in the chicken run. Now they spend most of their time out and about roaming around the entire garden, but I'm going to put a camera up in the run and it's going to be pointing at the caravan, and I want to see if Mr. Fox comes back, and if he does, where does he go and what time does he come on our piece of land, or more importantly, when does he go around the caravan. So I'm going to set that up now that'll give me an idea of how I can then go ahead and control it. And I think if it is a reoccurring issue, considering the nights are getting lighter and the chickens stay out for a lot longer, I think there is a risk that we could end up with a fox coming back during the evening when they're all still out and about, and we may lose more. So I want to be ready for the fox, and they tend to be creatures of habit. So if I can figure out what time he's coming in, and if he is coming in, then I can address it at that point in time, and it will be with extreme prejudice. So we'll see. Anyway, let's go and get this camera set up before I freeze to death in this very chilly and very wet June weather, and we'll see how the chickies are doing, and we'll do a follow-up in a couple of days time and see what we've got. So let's get set up. Right, that's one of my older cameras. It's not as good as some of my others, but they're all in use at the moment. But that one will give me an idea, certainly over the next couple of days, as to what's going in and out of that area. I've set it to photos, not to videos, because it saves on the memory, and it'll be a 3-burst photo, so it'll give me an idea of direction. I think the interval's only about 20 seconds between each photo, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. Anyway, it's now started absolutely chucking it down, so we'll come back in a couple of days time and we'll check on those results. Right, following up on the fox issue. Well, I was right, it came back, and we set up a camera, not last night, night before, and the fox came back at 2:49 in the morning and went back to where the nest site was. So we know we have got a fox visiting the garden on a frequent basis, and he thought he was going to get an easy meal, which is what I sort of expected him to do. He went back to the same spot that he found that chicken. The problem with that is he's now got a taste for chicken here, and he now knows that there are chickens in this garden. So what I need to do now is figure out, is he coming back on a regular basis, and if he is, what time is he coming into our garden, because without that knowledge I can't really address the issue. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. So I've got the camera again. Last time I set this up as photos. This time I'm going to set it up as a video, but I'm only going to set it once the chickens have gone to bed, because what I found yesterday is when I came to check it, there were like 300 photos on it. Pretty much most of them was Rufus staring at the camera. See how that goes tonight. Hopefully there's enough space on the disc. That would be annoying if we haven't got enough space, but we'll see. That's another reason for setting it up late this evening. Anyway, chickens are still out at the moment, so we've got another couple of hours until they go to bed. Once they go to bed, I'll shut them up and fit this camera, and we'll check in again tomorrow. It's been a few weeks, in fact longer than that, it's been a few months since the first part of this video that you've just watched, where we were trying to work out what animals were coming into our garden and from where. Now, we already had an idea that occasionally we're getting a fox, but we wanted to know how frequently and whereabouts he's entering the site. So I went about setting up a couple of cameras in the garden in the hopes that we could actually figure that out. But hopefully we'd see what else comes into the garden, if anything interesting does. So it's now midwinter, and it's been a couple of months since I set up those cameras, and I think it's time that we brought them in and had a look. Now, I have checked a couple of times, so I do know we've actually captured some things on those cameras, but I think it's time to actually download all the images and have a look really what's coming in. Now, one thing I would say is those cameras have been moved around a couple of times in the process. They haven't been in the same spot for the duration, just so that we get better coverage across the garden, particularly in the places where I think certainly the fox has been coming in. I've wanted to find out where that is, but we'll go and collect the cameras in, then I'll download the images and we'll put them up and see what we've got. Let's go and get it. Okay, camera collected. Let's go and download the images and let's see what we've got coming into the garden. We'll put them up next. Right, we've been and checked the SD cards on the remote cameras and we've seen what we have going into the back garden. Now, one of the things that we seem to have a lot of is an infestation of 4-year-olds.
Me.
Ah, yes, him. This one here, Monkey. Other than that, dogs, lots of chickens, and quite a few muntjac. So we've definitely confirmed we have...
And foxes.
Yes, we have got foxes in the garden, although not as many as I thought we might have. So Darwin rolling in the fox poo was a bit of a giveaway, and we've actually confirmed, yes, there are at least 2 foxes coming into the garden from different locations. And then we've definitely got at least 2, maybe 3 muntjac deer coming in on quite a frequent basis, actually. Where we stood at the moment, I've also had a camera out here, and we did have a couple of muntjac coming through here as well. So we definitely know that we've got a fair amount of stuff moving around. So we aren't in a position to do anything about the fox at the moment. I don't think it's coming in enough to do anything. I will keep the cameras out and we'll keep an eye on what's about. But I think that'll do us for now, won't it?
Ahi.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now, and I think we'll probably do an update later in the year. We're going to sign off and we'll see you next time.